blended learning course creation in the LMS module. We already know that a blended learning course is an instructor-led course, which means you can add a trainer to a blended learning course. Now we'll be exploring the different steps involved in creating a blended learning course. There are 3 different steps to create a blended learning course. Step 1, first create a course, that is adding a course to the LMS module. And step 2, to update the resource materials. So all the learning materials with respect to this course has to be updated. And step 3 is about updating the course related settings. So after completing all the 3 steps, you will be able to publish this course with your users. Now we will be discussing about the first 2 steps, that is creating a course and updating the resource materials. In order to create a new course, you need to navigate to the LMS module. So you can go to LMS, and from here under My Courses, you have an option to add a new course. Click on Add Course, enter a course name. So after you enter the course name, you will have to select the course type. So now we will be creating a blended learning course. Click on Blended Learning. And when it comes to a blended learning course, it is important to create a batch, because if it is a self-paced learning course, you can have any number of learners participating. That is, even 500 people can directly enroll to a self-paced learning course and they can complete it without any manual intervention. However, in case of a blended learning course, you are adding a trainer. So if you are expecting a large crowd to be a part of this course, a trainer will not be able to engage with all the people in one instance. So that is the reason when it comes to a blended learning course, it is important for you to create batch. So when you are creating a batch, you can also allocate the maximum people that you are expecting to take part in this batch. So you can split your blended learning course into multiple batches, and it is mandatory for you to create a batch. So let's enter the batch name. And you can mention the start and end date for this particular batch. And once this is done, you will have to enter the minimum and maximum capacity, which means that you will be only accepting 50 people to be enrolled to this batch, which is called batch 1. So once the basic details are updated, click on create. And once you click on create, you will be redirected to another page. So the first option that you're going to add here is about customizing the overview session. So when you click on this edit option, you can edit the learning outcomes and about the course. So there is a default text available here. You will be able to edit this text. So once that is done, you can click on submit. The next option is about adding modules. So modules is nothing but splitting your entire course into different modules. So to give you an example of what a module is, you can consider modules to be different chapters in a book. So a book is split into different chapters, and each chapter will deliver a particular content. In the same way, you're going to split your entire blended learning course into different modules, and each of the module will deliver a particular content. So we are going to first add a module. Click on Add Module and enter the module name. So let's say this is module 1. You can also write a description if you want, and duration is nothing but it will help the users to understand that they will have to dedicate, for example, 90 minutes to complete this module. This is just for the understanding of the learners. So you can click on save. So now a module is created successfully. And to this module, you're going to add different types of resource materials. So you can click on this plus option. So the first type of material that you can upload is called a file. So click on file, you can enter a file name. Again, you can mention the duration. And you can write a description if you want. And you can upload any type of file. It can be an Excel sheet, it can be a document, or it can even be a video file. So you will have to enter the document here. And the maximum size of this file has to be 1 GB and not more than that. So after adding the file, there are a few options that you can use. The first option is mark file as mandatory. So if you don't want your employees to skip this information, mark it as mandatory. You can also mark it as an introductory file. For example, under this module, you're going to add more than one file. So you can differentiate this file by marking it as an introductory file. So employees will know that this is the first one that they will have to refer before looking into the other files. And if you want your employees to download this file, enable this option, or else you can keep it disabled. There is one more option which I would like to explore. So let me remove the file I have uploaded. So I'll add another file. So you see this option here called Disable Seek. So if you are adding a video file over here and you don't want your employees to fast forward the video and complete it, if that is the case, you can enable this option, Disable Seek, which means that employees has to go through the video completely. So you can make use of this option if you're uploading a video content. So once all the relevant options are added, you can click on Save. So this is the first type of resource material that you can add. The next one is called a link. So you don't have the resources in form of a file or a video. The resources are stored in an external platform, probably an external link. You can directly add the link over here. Basically, we are embedding the link in this particular course. And again, you can mark it as mandatory if you don't want your employees to skip this information. Once this is done, you can click on Save. And then we have a session. So session is very particular to a blended learning course. When you're creating a self-paced learning course, you will not have the option of creating a session. So you should give a session name. So there are two types of sessions that you can create. One is a classroom session, another one is an e-learning. A classroom session is nothing but a face-to-face session, which is an offline mode. Or you can go with the option called e-learning, which is an online session. So when we say online session, it happens through Zoho Meeting. So Zoho Meeting is an online tool which can be used to host your sessions in the LMS module. And only the organization admin of Zoho people will have an option to create an e-learning session in this LMS module. And for you to create an e-learning session, you don't need to purchase Zoho Meeting separately. So whenever you purchase LMS module, the free version of Zoho Meeting will be already attached to your People subscription. So you can create a classroom session or an e-learning session. So let's go with classroom. So after selecting the type, you will have to enter the date. So let's say it happens on 1st of August. And then what is the start and end time? And who will be the trainer? So when I click on the drop down here, I do have some list of users predefined. So I'm making Daphne as a trainer. And then I have an option to select a room because this is not an online session. It is going to be a classroom session. So I will have to let my learners know where exactly the session is happening. So I can select a particular conference room. So the drop-down options that you see here for trainer and room are already predefined in the system. So if you want to predefine the list of trainers and rooms, there is another option that you'll have to do, which is you need to go to Operations, and from Operations, access the LMS module. And here you have an option to create the list of trainers and list of rooms. So when it comes to trainers, click on Add Trainer. So all the active employees of your organization will be listed here. And the very important thing to note here is there is no option to add an external trainer to Zoho People, which means that for you to add someone as a trainer, they need to be a user in the system. So this is where you can predefine the list of trainers for your organization. And then we have rooms. So the complete list of conference rooms or training rooms has to be defined here. So whatever options that you're adding here will be available when you're creating a new session. So once this is done, you can write a description if you want. You can also mark it as mandatory and you can click on Save. this is how you will be creating a session. And then we have assignment. You can also create assignment. So let's give it a name. And you're going to award maximum marks. And this mark will be entered by the trainer. So employees are going to submit their results in the system. Trainer is going to evaluate it and then provide the marks. So the maximum mark that a trainer can allocate to an employee is going to be 50. And then submission type. So you're giving an assignment to a particular employee. And what will be the submission type? Do you want the employee to submit the results of the assignment? If yes, you have this option. File attachment. They can submit the results in form of a file, or text submission, where they can manually write the answer to the assignment, or you can go with the option no submission. So it is just like a task that you're assigning to them, but you're not expecting them to submit the results. If that is the case, you can go with the option no submission. And then you can write a description if you want. Again, you can mark it as a mandatory one. So once these options are updated, you can click on save. So the next type of resource that we can have here is called an offline test. So you can just mention the test name and the maximum number of marks that can be awarded to an employee. So let's add a test name. The maximum marks is going to be 100. And the allowable duration, which is 60 minutes. Enter a description, mark it as mandatory if you'd like to have, click on save. So what happens in an offline test is, this test actually happens outside of Zoho People. So if you have a separate tool where all these assessments will happen, you can ask your employees to take part in that test, and the trainer can come back to Zoho People and directly update the test results. This is about creating an offline test. The next option that we have is creating an online test. So when you say online test, the test itself happens through Zoho People. So let's create an online test. So let's give it a name. And the maximum number of items that an employee can take. So let's make it as 2. And till when an employee can use these items. So this is an option, allow re-attempts until. So there are 3 different options for you to choose from. Items are available, test is completed, or a course is completed. You can choose between any one of the options here. Again, you can write a description and mark this one as a mandatory test. So once you click on save, you will be redirected to the next step where you are going to create the assessment, because in case of an online test, an employee is going to take the test right from Zoho People. So you're going to prepare the assessment. So click on add assessment. You will be redirected to another page. So here you are setting up the time limit. So you can either go with overall time limit for this test, let's say 60 minutes, or you can give time per question. So for an employee to complete one question, it is going to be 1 minute, or you can make it as no time limit. And then you have this option called layout, which is how you want the questions to be displayed, whether it is going to be one question per page or all the questions in one page. You can also shuffle the questions between different learners, enable this option. And you can also enter the pass percentage. So let's make it as 70%. And these are all the different options that you can enable. So in case after completing this test, if you are going to display the final results to the learners, these are all the different options that you can choose from. Or you can also choose not to show the results to your learners. And once that is done, you can update the final score. So how should be your final score? Whether it is the highest score or latest attempt, because we are enabling 2 different attempts. That is, an employee can take 2 different attempts for this one online test. So what should be your final score? Is it going to be the highest score between these 2 attempts, or it is going to be the score that an employee has received in the last attempt? So once these basic preferences are set, click on next. So this is a place where you're going to actually add the questions for this online test. So you can click on add question, or you can also click on this drop down to choose questions from the question bank. So click on add from question bank, select a question, click on add question, or there is one more option here called add random questions. Click on it. So you can select a particular category here so that system can give you questions based on the category that you are selecting, and then you will be able to map those questions. The third option is you can manually create a new question. Click on add question. These are all the different question type that you can choose from. And you can also award marks. So if an employee is answering this question right, they will be awarded 1, 2 or 5 marks depending upon the option that you select. So once your questions are mapped, you can also customize the thank you message. So after completing these questions, system can show this thank you message. After adding all of your questions, click on next. So these are all few advanced options related to this test. So first is about allow users to move between questions. So you have a list of 10 questions. Do you want an employee to directly switch to question number 10 from first question, or can they move back to question number 1 from 9th question? If yes, enable this option. The next one is about time interval between attempts. That is, an employee can take 2 different attempts. And what is a time interval that they'll have to maintain to take the next attempt? And the last option is about terminate incomplete attempt. So let's say I'm enabling this option. Assessment will be automatically concluded after 1 day. So I started taking the test today morning at 10 o'clock, but I didn't complete the test. So within tomorrow morning 10 o'clock, if I'm trying to take this test, I will be able to continue the test. But after 10 a.m. tomorrow, if I'm trying to take this test, I will not be able to resume. I will have to again start the test from scratch. So this is about terminating the incomplete attempt. And then we have browser security measures. You don't want your employees to print the question paper when they are taking up the test. Enable the option restrict printing. And you don't want them to copy the question because we are restricting the print action. You also want to disable the copy functionality. Enable this option, disable copy. And then terminate test attempt on tab switching. So you want to terminate the attempt completely if an employee is switching between multiple tabs. If yes, go with this option. And the last one is about IP restrictions. You can enable this option, enter a from and to IP range. This is nothing but you want your employees to take this test only when they're available within the office premises. You don't want them to take this test when they are away from your office. In that case, you can mention a specific from and to IP range. So these are all few advanced preferences that you can set. Once everything is done, click on next. Your test is now ready to be published. So click on publish. So this is about creating an online test. So the next item under a module is going to be content. So a content is a space where you can manually type anything. So you don't have resources in form of a file or an Excel or in a video. You would like to manually type the contents. If that is the case, you can make use of this option. So these are all the different types of resources that you can have under one particular module. So one last thing about adding these information is, for example, I have already added one file. I'm going to add another file now. So I click on add file. Let me add another one. And I want my employees to access this file only after completing the first file. That is a condition. First, save this information. You have this option called log properties. Go to log properties. You can either log this specific file based on a date, or you can use this option based on entity completion. So I can go here, I can select file, and I'm selecting file 1. Click on save. So now file 2 will only be accessible to your employees only after completing file 1. So here you can see the log symbol enabled. So this is about adding a module to a particular course. And you're going to repeat this activity to add another module, and to this module, you can add different types of resources. This is about creation of modules. So once the module is created, you can see all the sessions created under these particular modules in this tab, and all the files you have added for this particular course will be listed under the file section. This is simply about module creation. Then moving on to the next part. How users are going to enroll to this particular course. There are two different options. One is employees can directly enroll to this course based on the applicable criteria. Other option is, as an admin, you will be able to add members. So you go to the members tab, you click on add members. So there are different ways that an admin can use to add a member. First option is make use of any one of these criteria to add a member. The next option is other course members. That is, you can directly add members to this particular course based on another course. For example, I'm selecting this course called Basics of C++, and I'm selecting the batch, or let's go with another course. So I am going to include all the members who are enrolled to a course called Zoho People and they belong to a batch called Test. So all these members will now be added to this course called Java. So you can directly migrate course members from a different course to the new course that you're creating. The third option is import. You can download the sample template and you can add all the members in that template and you can import it back to the system. The other option that you see here is called enrollment request, which is nothing but under course settings, there is an option where an employee need to take permission from the reporting manager to enroll to a particular course. If that is the case, all those enrollment requests will be listed under this section. So we will be discussing about this option under course settings. So these are all the multiple ways on how an admin can add a member. And then you have notes. This is a space dedicated to the learner. So the learner can add a note based on their outcomes that they have learned on this particular course. And then you have discussion. So this is like a forum. For example, the trainer can directly add a post under this discussion forum. And all the learners can look into the discussion, comment against the discussion, and in case, learners can also add a new discussion over here. And then we have feedbacks. So once the course is completed by the learner, they can provide feedback related to course and as well as to a session. And reports, this is where you will be able to see the reports related to this particular course. And then finally, we have this option called pre and post learning activity. This is nothing but an online test that an employee will take before starting the course and after completing the course. And we will be discussing about these options in detail under course setting. So this is a second step towards creating a course in Zoho People. So first step is adding a course and step 2 is adding different modules particular to this course.